Welcome to the all brand new Cedexis Advanced Monitoring Interface. This video will guide you through all the new features that comes with it. There are three main categories on the homepage that you can find on your portal in the tab Charts. So this is the homepage for the new tool. It's divided into three main categories. The first one is Radar, the result of our real user monitoring of CDN and cloud performances. OpenMix, the second category, is the result of our multi-CDN strategy, and page load time is giving you any information of how fast all the pages of your website load. Now, since the new improvements are mainly in page load time category, I'll start with that right now. In the first section of the page load time category, you'll find what we call the global heat map, which is a good tool for you to understand the zones where your website loads fast or not. Moving around those three small buttons, here I can show you, for example, what many customers ask us at Cedexis is to say, well, I want my website to load in less than 3 seconds, for example, in the whole world. So I'll switch this button to 3 seconds, the middle button to, let's say, 6 seconds, and the last one to 10 seconds. What I did here is just change the color mapping of the map in order to look at the full world and see, well, this website loads pretty well in the US with 3.4 million page load time. France, 3.3 seconds, that's fine. But when I have a look in China, it's over 13 seconds. So I might want to make improvement on my web pages here. A quick overview of the data filters maybe. You can have access through this page load time category to any of the nav timing elements that are available on HTML5 browsers, from the HTTP connect to the DOM and to the total page load. This is the total page load that is displayed currently on my screen. Of course, what you want to be willing to do is play on both time dimension here, 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, or any custom time range from now till 60 days ago. And you can also animate this map by clicking on the secondary dimension time and clicking on the play button. Now, what I will do is to dig into a country of interest to show you around where we can dig into the page load time data with the Cedexis tool. For example, if I'm interested in looking at what happens in France, I just click on France, and the new tool will switch automatically to a detailed chart view. Here you can see the times in milliseconds, and here the time UTC. Basically, a few statistics are available to you to play with. I'm going to select HTTP DOM and total page load for this demo. You can play around with the statistics, meaning you can show percentiles. Here I'm showing the median, 50th percentile, but what's interesting for you is to check, for example, the 10th, 25th, 75th, and 95th percentile. Let's click on the 95th percentile for those who don't know what it is. A percentile is basically this. 95th percentile means that I have 95% of my visitors that load the page in less than 20 seconds. It also means that I still have 5% of my visitors that load the page in more than 20.8 seconds. This is a good tool to better investigate who are those 5% remaining and try to improve their web performance. Let's go back to the 50th percentile, which is the median, which means I have 50% of my population which loads the website in more than 3.3 seconds, and I also have 50% that loads the web pages in less than this value. What this new page load time category is good for is to dig into the data, as I told you. You can have a look at every URL where the tag has been deployed. We strongly suggest that you deploy the tag on the maximum of web pages that you can in order to have the best real user monitoring experience. And here we will preload for you the top 30 URLs in terms of traffic. Here, for this specific customer that agreed on showing you his data. You'll have, of course, the first home page on the first URL, and then specific web pages that had a good traffic over the last 24 hours. Here, a typical French trend with an increase in page load time in the rush hours when people get from work. You can have a look then, of course, at the ISPs that are available in France in order to see what are the differences in total page load depending on the ISP used by the visitors that have been visiting your website. Then you can dig a little deeper and have a look at the user agent used by your visitors, meaning you're able to see with this new Cedexis Advanced charts what web browser was used by your visitors in order to see if your website is performing better using Chrome, Firefox, or Internet Explorer. You can also play with the version of the web browser, which is very helpful for you in order to check when you have done some changes on your web pages that some users still having a previous versions of web browser are not left behind. Then you can play with the OS, meaning you'll be able to distinguish the mobile users from the desktop users. Beware that this that I'm showing you now is the performance shown by the data taken by the HTML tag. For mobile applications, Cedexis developed a dedicated SDK for Android and iOS, which is available to you and free to use in order to bring back this page load time data for applications. This page load time data is also available to view through statistical distributions. I talked to you about percentiles, and this view is basically showing in box plots the different percentiles for your user's performance. Here I'll display the box plot for total page load and HTTP DOM. This view is quite straightforward to show to a customer. It's basically this. On the bottom of the box plot here, the first horizontal line is the 10th percentile, which means I have 10% of my visitors that load the website totally, total page load, external module and advertisement included, until the onload event in less than 1.1 seconds. Then the start of the box plot is the 25th percentile, and in this box I have this sticker line, which is the 50th percentile, also called median, and here I find back the 3.5 seconds. On the top of the box plot you have the 75th percentile, and on the top of it the value that I showed before is the 95th percentile, meaning that I have 95% of my users loading my web pages in less than 23 seconds. You can also distinguish a small circle here on the box plots, which is the mean. This is all for page load time. I'll switch now to Radar interface. Radar, the first category, is the result of our real user monitoring tool through the tag that was deployed in more than 370 websites, bringing us back 1.6 billion measurements every day. Let's have a quick look at the first feature, which is My Traffic. This is very quite forward. It's basically showing for your visitors where they are coming from. Here you can again play with those small dots in order to check a threshold and see in real time where your traffic is coming from over the last 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, but also over the last 60 minutes. Radar is giving you this granularity. This view is also available in detailed charts mode. Whenever you're interested in having a look at different ISPs, you can select the My Traffic detailed charts, and for example, if I'm selecting France, I can have a look at where the traffic is coming from, meaning by selecting the network in the primary dimension here, I'll be able to very quickly see for each French ISP where my traffic is coming from. And I can see here that this AS has been bringing back 30% of my traffic. Now this is pretty straightforward, and this is not performance data, it's just the number of measurements. Now, let's switch to the most important feature in this new chart, which is the performance benchmark. I'll show you here the detailed charts view. It's basically showing you how you can compare the performance for CDNs, clouds, or your private platforms if you asked us to do so. Cedexis is measuring 4 different things: availability, HTTP connect time, HTTP response time, and HTTP throughput for both HTTP and HTTP mobile, but also for SSL secured connections. Let's focus on response time. Here we are showing off again many statistics, percentiles, mean, and standard deviation. I'll stick with the median for now. And here in the platform section, you can actually select the CDNs or the clouds that you're interested in comparing. Now, what's really interesting in this new tool is that you can see that it's displaying in real time the performance of CDNs or clouds. This is done by doing direct queries into our database. Beware that nothing has been cached into this new tool, which is why we're very proud in showing you this tool now. For example, I showed you the performance of four CDNs, and here you can play first with the time range, and you can go up to the last 60 minutes and up to 60 days. I invite you to play with those 2 buttons, which are very important. Those are dimensions in order to display exactly what you want to display on this chart. For example, let's say I'm interested in knowing in France what are the best CDNs and how am I going to choose my multi-CDN strategy. So I focus on France, and I want to have a look, for example, in the network view. Meaning for every platform, I will have a look at which one is the best for each ISP, because we all know that none of the CDNs will be the best for every ISP. And this is a view that clearly gives you a very quick overview over for each network, which is the best performing CDNs. Again, I invite you to play with the time range. We are able to give you a live view of the CDN performance. If you want, even if your audience is big enough, you can restrict the data filters to only your visitors, meaning it will be CDN and cloud performance as measured not by the entire radar community, but only by your visitors. The entire radar community is today bringing us more than 1.6 billion measurements, having us able to give you a perfect overview of CDN and cloud performance around the globe. This is all for performance benchmark. It's very helpful in order to know what CDN to choose or to check the performance of your current CDN or cloud platforms. Don't hesitate to contact us if you want more advice on how to choose CDNs in the countries and networks that you're interested in. Radar also gives you the possibility to check what is the performance for a single platform as shown on a world map, just like for page load time. For example, if you want to quickly have a look at the performance for one specific CDN or one specific cloud, you can just select one platform here into the single platform view and move around again those small dots, which was here in terms of response time. I'll show you in blue the countries where the response time was lower than 60 milliseconds, and then the second dot in yellow, the response time equal to 100 milliseconds, and over 150 is red. And here, for this particular CDN, you can see the performance in one glance on the whole world. This is what Radar is powerful to do, is basically giving you a perfect overview of CDN and cloud performances. If you are a CDN or cloud provider and you're not on the list, please contact us. We'll be happy to give you advice on how to do it to be able to be displayed in that list of more than 100 providers so far. The second category here is DNS Open Mix, the result of applying a multi-CDN, multi-cloud hybrid CDN strategy with Cedexis, and basically knowing where your traffic was directed to. The whole point of Cedexis is to build a multi-CDN strategy in order to deliver the best performance for all your real users. For this specific customer, we did have done a multi-CDN strategy between Edgecast and Limelight. And to know where the traffic was diverted to, I can basically check here very quickly where the traffic was directed to by clicking on this button, the primary dimension, and select platform. You can of course select different dimensions. If you want to compare your applications, DNS application, meaning for us, different criteria of routing, be it performance, cost, or anything that you want to apply on your routing strategy. You can compare by location to check that one CDN has been sent the traffic that he deserves in any country you're interested in, and ISP, and of course platform, which is CDN or cloud, here showing what gave the multi-CDN strategy over the last 24 hours for these specific customers. So what I am showing you now is basically we took 9 million decisions over the last 24 hours for these customers, and you can see that Limelight has taken 52% of these customers' traffic, Edgecast 47%, and whenever none of those CDNs were available, we sent the traffic to a fallback address, which is only 0.02%. And here you can have it in real time by clicking here on the last 60 minutes and clicking on that live update button. This DNS Open Mix data basically gives you the ability to better understand where your traffic was sent to and making some changes if you want. Beware that DNS Open Mix at Cedexis is very fast to get into production, meaning if you want to add or remove a CDN, we can do so in a few seconds. This is the power of DNS Open Mix. You can also have the possibility to display here a global heat map, which will basically show you where we have taken the DNS decisions. Now, that's all for the DNS Open Mix view. If you have any question, don't hesitate to contact us. That's all for the new Cedexis Advanced Monitoring Interface. As a quick summary, 3 main categories: radar for the CDN, cloud, and private platforms performance, DNS Open Mix to check that everything went well with your multi-CDN strategy, and page load time in order to better understand the real user experience for your web pages. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. We'll be happy to help. Thank you very much.